Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, depending on where you have joined from. My name is IG Reddy, and I am your host today. First, thank you all for registering and taking the time to join us today for this webinar on proactive optimization for your containerized workloads in Kubernetes with quality tracing. I have a few housekeeping announcements before we begin. At any time during the webinar, please feel free to ask questions by typing them into the questions or chat window on your screen. Questions will be answered at the end of the session. Following the webinar, the recording will be available and shared with all attendees. If you experience any technical issues, please visit the help menu in the GoToWebinar control panel on the right of your screen. Lastly, I have placed all of you on mute to prevent any background noise. Now, to provide a quick background on AppStack, we provide customized IT consulting services for companies ranging from mid-sized to Fortune 1000 enterprises across a wide range of industry verticals. Leveraging agile practices, our SMEs, architects, and associates build software applications, platforms, and products that become primary drivers of innovation and revenue growth for our clients and their businesses. AppStack is recognized for driving quality and speed to market when business success depends on the software applications. Founded in 2007, AppStack is headquartered in Edison, Texas, with offices in US, Canada, Middle East, and India. Our processes are CMMI level assessed and ISO 27001:2013 compliant. Our strategic partnerships with Oracle, Microsoft, Boomi, and Snowflake help us deliver pioneering solutions in Oracle Enterprise applications, digital quality, digital engineering, quality engineering, data and analytics, and cognitive solutions. Now, a quick intro to our webinar topic. Kubernetes is a gift built by skilled developers to empower the engineers and cloud-native ecosystem. The complexity driven by continuous innovation makes it hard to understand the behavior of the workloads. Besides the technology, DevSecOps and TestOps culture brings in additional complexity. It impacts the runtime performance, efficiency, and cost effectiveness of the cloud-native ecosystem. This makes it hard for the engineers to achieve the business objectives. In order to address these challenges, we built an intelligent solution using AI and machine learning to dynamically learn the complexity of the workloads running in Kubernetes and bring optimization with ease. We're calling it as Optimizor, Opty for short. Opty can analyze your workloads and figure out optimal resources for running your applications with best performance, cost effectiveness while achieving the business objectives. Opty gives full control to your DevSec and Ops engineers to build your cloud-native ecosystem right from the design stage. That's a shift left. Opty is all about data and how data can help achieve better DevSecOps culture using AI/ML in the cloud-native world. Now, to introduce today's presenters, Chandrakant Baladugu and Prasanna Kumar Amiraju. Chandu, a passionate problem solver and an open source contributor, is our cloud native and DevSecOps architect. With 15 plus years of experience in cloud security, automation, and QA, he is taking innovation in the automation field to new heights using AI/ML. Prasanna, our expert on AI/ML and lead data scientist with over 15 years of experience, helps build innovative solutions using AI/ML. I will now hand it over to Prasanna. Prasanna, the stage is yours.
Thank you, IG. Good morning and good evening to all the audience who have joined across the globe to us. So I'll quickly set the context for this webinar, and then I'll hand it over to Chandu so that he can talk in detail about the product which we are developing. So agenda for today, how enterprises are data along with AI/ML across all phases. Then we will talk a little bit about DevSecOps and what is TestOps. And then we'll slowly build into our platform. What are the goals? What are the mission? And then how it is going to change, how we are changing things. And then the challenges with optimization. What are the different challenges which organizations today face? And then our solution is, which is AI driven, is making a change to this particular space. And lastly, we'll take Q&A, and then we'll handle some of the Q&A questions. So AI. So now we all know AI is transforming the entire landscape actually. Now I have a great idea, and then we know that we go to requirements management and then the end-to-end. Once we launch the product, there is a customer support as well. But AI is today coming into each of these phases. If you look at this entire development, security, and operations phase, right? AI is pretty much managing each of these phases, right? From the way you are gathering your feedback, how you are addressing the issues. Now, there is a lot of emphasis on the shift left strategy. We are also going to talk in subsequent slides of this webinar on what the shift left strategy is and how this thing. So shift left strategy helps us in faster addressal of issues, maintenance of software quality, security. There's a lot of emphasis on security, right? Now, the moment we talk about data, we are talking about security of the data as well. We all know that, you know, one odd breach in across a component is a breach of the entire system. So how we are talking about runtime security, quality tracing. AI is also coming into quality tracing with, you know, with its own input, saying that, with own suggestion, saying that, hey, I see there is a better way to write this particular code. I see that this is a, I see a potential issue over here, or I see some code which, you know, which is probably not covered by some of your test cases. And then anomaly detection. So post-production anomaly detection is your huge space actually. So you will have a lot of products in the market also which says that, you know, hey, we can detect anomaly. We can handle different things. Optimization. How do you optimize your entire process, right? Right from, you know, requirements gathering to all the way to your hardware as well. And of course, you also have your cost and the digital transformation associated. So AI is pretty much impacting all the phases actually. So, so next slide, please. So now, while we are so focused on AI within the software space, right? What Abstract is doing is also it's partnering with some of our manufacturing industries to how we can build AI within their space as well. So scheduling agents is more of an optimization problem where we are talking about how do you, with all the supply chain disruptions, how do you optimize your entire supply chain? Knowledge discoveries, where and how you can make changes in this in your this thing. Product performance optimization is again your maintenance tasks, and augmented root cause analysis. We have all done root cause analysis, right? There is a lot of issues, you know, which we can resolve in subsequent phases the moment you do root cause analysis. And then system designing, product system designing. So so this entire phases are also getting impacted with AI. Moving on. So now DevSecOps actually. Now, how is it AI transforming? We heard that, you know, AI can do this across multiple phases, but how is AI really transforming? So execution efficiency. Right? So all traditional systems are rule-based system, depending on expert opinions or human analysis, etc. So what AI is doing here is, with large volumes of data being generated across DevSecOps, right? Right from, you know, you commit your code to all the way to deployment, the development, security, and operations, right? There is large volume of data. So AI can actually analyze all this data, and then it can say, okay, you don't have to really depend on your rule-based systems. I can actually present you better options actually across this thing. So AI is transforming in terms of execution efficiency. Swifter failure forecasting, the entire shift left culture, right? So what we are talking about is, if you look at your traditional systems, right, you build an app, you deploy it, and then there is a huge load, and then people will talk about, hey, can I spin up more VMs? Can I pick up more instances? So shift left culture is, okay, I don't want to wait till an issue happens. I don't want to realize in production saying that, there is some kind of an issue. So can I move it into a pre-prod? So AI will simulate everything, all the issues for you. And let's say you have a smoke environment or a pre-prod environment, right? So AI can simulate all of those and tell you clearly whether your application or your mobile app, whatever it is, can it withstand all those things actually. So shift left culture, prevent issues even before they're happening. Smarter resource management. So this is the core of our entire webinar today. So how do I manage my entire resources? Hardware resources, saying that, hey, I'm using this much capacity of my infrastructure right now. Do I really need so much capacity, or is there a better way to manage that particular capacity? So we will dwell in detail in so should I increase the hardware? Should I increase the capacity of the CPU? Should I increase the memory? Should I increase the network bandwidth? So there are a lot of things which you can do with respect to resource management. So we're going to focus more on that in this webinar actually. Going on. Feedback loop, right? So now let's say you have gathered your data. So you have gathered, let's assume security related data. You have gathered some data related to your root cause analysis or requirements. Okay, so AI will chip in, it will analyze all this data, and it will actually ensure that entire thing is kind of entire thing is sourced back to your original first phase, right? So whenever you start your release 2.0 or let's say sprint 2, then all this data is available for you to along with the suggestions to see how you can improve the same. Anomaly detection, again, a huge area, everything related to security, where we are talking about, is there a particular instance of an application where it is consuming more resources, or is it accessing some of the other things which it should not be doing, or suddenly within your ecosystem you have a completely different process which has been suddenly spun up, and then you don't know why it is there. So anomaly detection, along with how do you prevent it actually. So these days hackers are so smart that you cannot even have you cannot even lose data for even 1 second actually. Within 1 second you're going to lose. So can AI jump in and then protect all your data within a span of nanoseconds? And then reporting and visualizations, right? So all of this is done, but the question comes back, hey, I'm not so well versed with your domain actually, but still can I use all of these things? Yes, detailed reporting and visualization is the core of all our products which we develop in AppStack actually. So even if you are a non-business user, even if your technical team is not proficient, yeah, we're still good with it. We can still come in, we can deploy the resource, handhold your team, and then even if you're from non-technical, using all the analytics dashboards which we provide you, you can actually go in and start using the system as is actually. Moving on. So DevSecOps and TestOps. Now I hand over to my colleague Chandu here, who is an expert in this entire DevSecOps and TestOps space, who is going to give you a detailed overview and walkthrough of it. Chandu, over to you.
Thank you, President. So I know many of you probably already know what DevOps is and what's DevSecOps, and you probably heard about the buzzwords, TestOps, and all that. So I'll be very quick on this topic. DevOps, we know how you plan, code, build, test, release, deploy, manage, etc. And DevSecOps is the new culture every organization need to adopt, and the new trend which you probably already are adopting in some of your organizations, and which we are seeing growing a lot of demand in the industry. So here, introducing security and compliance as part of your DevOps culture and making that automated to make developers' life easy and also operational teams' life easy, the SREs' life easy, is about a whole culture of DevSecOps, and using the same methodologies and adopting the same culture within the testing environment or within your testing teams, or the way your organization adopt the testing culture is what is talks about the TestOps. So when you need to do the testing, how you need to do the testing is what all TestOps talks about. And it's basically, you know, just like how you adopt the DevOps culture, empowering your testing engineers and your developers by implementing the TestOps culture is, you know, it emphasizes more on how the testing should be done in the modern technology and modern ecosystem. So today, I'm going to quickly talk about at a very high level what we are building and how we are leveraging AI to build what we are building. Okay, so with our industry experience and different varieties of clientele we have seen many problems how industry is facing today to adopt the DevSecOps culture and to build solutions to solve different complex problems, right? So we are continuously developing and coming up with innovative solutions. So I segregated what we are building in DevSecOps 3 areas. So for the developers, soon we are going to launch our open source low-code framework called Compage, which is capable of generating source code, your code base in any programming language just by taking requirements as input. So we are starting with the Golang and Rust as the primary supporting languages, and we'll start including Python, Node.js, Bun, Carbon. These are all modern programming languages, right? And in the ops area, we are already building the quality tracing, which deals with the functional testing area, and non-functional testing area. It's Optimizor, which is already ready, and we are already testing in the beta with the early adopters. So Optimizor have two components. One is proactive solution, which developers can leverage the Opty right in the development stage itself and figure out the optimal resources for your environment, infrastructure, or applications. And Opty Live is something which is going to help as a reactive solution and which will be part of your production environment. And to make the operational folks or SRE folks life easy, and also to bring and automate the standards and compliance. That standards could be your automation standards, or your processes execution, your teams, how you organize teams, or your security standards, your compliance standards, and also how you want to integrate and automate your workloads. For all of that, we have built a integration framework, a universal integration framework, which is also going to work along with the AI built into it. And in security, that's where we our very unique product we built is Tarian. So it not only detects the anomalies. For the first time, we are introducing a framework where it can also automatically eliminate the anomalies in your Kubernetes ecosystem. So just a quick note here, we are building all these products to deal with the modern technology. What's the next future is. So containerization, Kubernetes, WebAssembly, this is what next future is going to be for the IT industry. And so all the products we built is compatible with any existing and also future tech. That's why we built it as a framework instead of a regular solution, to easily adopt any new changes, any new technologies, any new concepts, any new tools comes into the market, or which we build in-house, to be able to easily add them into the framework. That's how feasible we made it. So how did we made it possible, right? So we are a team who loves to solve the problems, and that's what we have been doing for over 15 years in the app stack. And all our solutions are all our innovation solutions which we are building are solution driven. Okay, so what we do is, the approach we took to make this possible is, we have a dedicated R&D team who continuously do the research on how to solve complex problems in a new way, and what are the new trends that are coming into the market, or what are the new trends other industries are adopting. What can we do better, or what can we do new? Is this, we have a R&D team which dedicates, and we form an idea, and then we do iterations on those ideas after our research is done, and that's when we adopt the AI ML experimentation on those ideas. Once we are satisfied with what we've built, then we go into the core development of the product. So let's talk about the today's topic, Optimizor. So what are the current challenges when it comes to optimization of your resources, especially the most complicated innovation platforms like Kubernetes and containerization, WebAssembly, right? So the traditional way of conducting the testing, right? It is your user. A user can be a developer or a QA engineer. They prepare the test cases after the application and the environment is ready, and then give those test cases as inputs to the testing platform or a testing tool, whether it is a vendor product or open source. Irrespective of that, your testing platform is the one which takes care of your executing your test cases. And once the test cases are executed, the results are provided to the user, and the users could be your architect or product owner, project owner, or the business analysts or the business decision makers, whoever it is. But here, the problem which we have seen is the decision is taken based on the analysis report which you observe after executing your tests. So if you're satisfied, of course, everything is green, you go ahead and deploy to the environments and take your build your production environment, or release your applications into the production environment. And if you're not satisfied, you're gonna come back, manually tweak all these test cases or the configuration of your environment or your configuration of your workloads running inside the Kubernetes, right? And then this whole process just repeats. So if you look at the the bottom diagram, the tweaking of these configurations depends on n number of factors. Here I'm just using few examples. It could be you're integrated with other vendor SaaS platforms or open source tools, and your business requirements, and where your infrastructure is built, whether it's a multi-cloud, hybrid, on-premise, multi-region, and also what are the type of applications, what is the programming language did you even use to develop your workloads, and your security standards, your compliance standards. This is the whole number of items which could impact what you want to configure and how the test case should be written, and what are the tweaks you need to do to achieve that optimal resource consumption target that is infinite. So what's happening is, right, the few more challenges. Adopting the modern technologies like Kubernetes, containerization, WebAssembly, it's very complex. To be able to deal with how do I, better manage resources for these modern technologies, it's obviously complex, and I'm sure a lot of you agree with that. And when it comes to playing with the parameters to be able to figure out the optimal resources, it's humongous. Let's say you want to tweak just the CPU value, or you want to tweak a memory value, or should you tweak the both? That's just one example I'm giving. There are many other things involved in when it comes to your ecosystem, right? The networking, IO throughput, your disk, what kind of storage format you're using, and what is your bandwidth, where is your ecosystem located, right? Your clusters, where are those built, and which region, and where is your users located? So depending on that, you continuously have to tweak to be able to actually achieve the optimal resource consumption. And then all of this is based on guesswork, right? I'm sure a lot of you agree with me. You either need a super experts, or you need a historical data to be able to take the decision. What should be my configuration? What should be my values that I should provide to my parameters in the configuration. This is based on estimations. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen that in your organizations, right? And skill gap, right? Do you really, have a lot of resources who are experts? I mean, for most of the companies, it's not possible to hire, experts, because we all know that there are very few people, or few thousands of people for lakhs and lakhs of industries available who are experts. And to be able to fulfill that skill gap is hard, and we know that that's the current industry problem. So with the skill gap and adopting modern technologies and trying to figure out the optimal values for you to be able to better consume the compute resources is very hard. And how reliable, end of the day, this all falls on your performance of your environment, performance of your workloads, and also giving the work-life balance for your engineers. So if you take a quick look about what are the parameters I'm talking, I took only few of the example parameters here. Let's say your engineer wants to tweak the parameters manually to figure out, how the optimal resources can be achieved. The whole tweaking can happen with selecting few items within the entire configuration ecosystem. So that could go on manually a number of times, and to be able to achieve that, it might take days, it might even take weeks. And in reality, what we have observed when we try to do it manually, it took us weeks. And I'm not talking about like juniors or intermediate, we are talking about experts. For experts, it took them weeks to figure out what could be optimal, and still we're not able to determine whether I'm really using enough resources, or am I over provisioning them? Am I spending too much cost? So another example of manually tweaking these configurations, right? As a human, there is always one-dimensional or probably two-dimensional way we can think about, and then we can tweak these configurations. And again, even with this approach, still the problem exists, right? And ultimately, this is also going to impact your cost, how much you are spending in your organization, and whether you are able to reach your business objectives, right? Your business goals. And also, directly, we are all contributing. Let's say you are running your environment with over provisioned resources, that is directly contributing to the pollution by a lot of carbon emission. That's a big impact. We are not only negatively impacting our performance of the applications or cost of our organization, we are also directly impacting our environment. And to solve these problems, we started looking, when we are in an R&D stage, we started looking into what are there any solutions already available, and we saw there are a lot of solutions available, whether they are based on traditional automation methodology or AI based. These are all, most of them we have seen is reactive solutions, which sits, the agent sits in your production environment, and then they try to react after what has happened. And we have seen very few proactive solutions, but they are all non-dynamic, meaning we know everybody, and I'm sure a lot of you agree with this, we know our releases, our changes in our applications, or changes in the infrastructure is continuous process. We try to adopt new technology, or we try to enhance the business requirements, the way we develop or change, or even try to adopt new programming languages, and try to adopt the new methodologies of adopting cloud and combining cloud and on-premise, or different multi-cloud, multi-region, all these things, right? There are a number of factors which comes into day-to-day operations. And when we saw the non-dynamic proactive environment, they're built, based on use case scenarios, rather than which can solve universal problem and can easily adapt to the ever-growing changes. So that's where we we came in, and that's where our optimizer Opty is stepping in. So how does Opty really solve this problem? The flow of testing is still the same. The developers or your QA engineers will write the test cases and use your traditional testing platforms or tools in the same way, but Opty's platform will come into the picture as your middleman. So here you're leveraging Opty platform and then providing your test cases as inputs to the optimizer. And now Opty sits in your development environment itself, your pre-prod environment, and it continuously try to figure out what are the elements I need to tweak to figure out the optimal resource values for each and every parameter that's involved as part of the compute resources. So to give a high-level flow of how the ML model works, if you see the below diagram, so the model continuously gets the data, the metrics data, how each and every workload in your Kubernetes environment is performing, and how the cluster is even behaving. And at a very, very low level, it captures the data from your existing monitoring tools, because we are able to integrate our Opty with different varieties of monitoring tools and testing tools. So there is no constraints on what you are using. You can leverage what you're already using. So our cluster agent, AI cluster agent, will collect those metrics and do on the fly dynamic analysis on what needs to be tweaked and when can I achieve the optimal results, when can I achieve the optimal goals. And this is based on data-driven evidence. We didn't build our AI solution as a way where it depends on historical data, or it only simulates what is your production environment is, and then only try to do the predictions. No, it is actually doing the experiments. It's basically playing the game with your Kubernetes ecosystem and your workloads running inside the Kubernetes, and then it is figuring out the optimal values based on that data it's able to generate. So a quick view on how when an AI system, when an AI solution try to play the game with different varieties of permutations and combinations for your compute resource parameters, this is how basically at a high level it looks like. It's going to play the game with all the different parameters at a single shot, and it does that in less than a second. And that's how fast our application is. So what are the benefits you're getting from this, right? So as I already mentioned, Kubernetes or any modern technologies which are coming out and which are already there right now and which are coming out in the next future, they're all complicated. Yes, they are very beautiful solutions. They're trying to solve different varieties of problems, but adopting them is complex. So using our AI-based framework and our AI-based solutions like Optimizor, it makes life easy to figure out your optimal solution. The optimal values for your compute resources. And like I showed you, I've shown you in the previous slide, the AI is capable of playing with your parameters in less than a second. So it knows exactly how to tweak and what is the parameter that needs to be tweaked and what are the combinations of parameters that needs to be tweaked in a very intelligent way. So here, using that AI solution, we are completely taking out the guesswork. There is no more estimations. There are no more over provisioning of your compute resources, and we know exactly when and where your system can crash and what needs to be tweaked and how to make your system and your workloads in the Kubernetes ecosystem to be stabilized. And also our platform brings the flexible integration. Like I said, it's easy to integrate with your existing tools and technologies. And this helps to offload the work of the traditional and robotic work from your engineers, and then it empowers your engineers to actually concentrate on your business applications. And ultimately, you probably might have guessed already, yes, this is going to help improve your workloads, performance of your workloads. Few more benefits are this: end of the day, we all want to save the cost. So whether you are over provisioning the compute resources, and what are the different combinations of virtual machines you need to use to build a Kubernetes cluster, what are the different compute resources you need to allocate for your pods where your workloads are running, all of that is directly going to impact the cost. So using Optimizor will help you to reduce that cost, and also it will tell you, where exactly you are spending each and every penny. And this is also going to help, to achieve your business goals like service level agreements, service level objectives, service level indicators. If you're a product company and you have customers who's consuming your products, these business goals are very, very important. So that makes our platform makes the life easy to achieve those business goals. And also, there is a new revolution. I'm sure a lot of you heard about it, and some of you are already adopting this culture in your organization, trying to contribute, to the 2030 goal of build organizations or convert our existing organizations as zero carbon emission or low carbon emission organizations, so that we can contribute to, to reduce the pollution in our nature. So that's where Optimizor is also, being a contributor to that. And our platform will help you to learn and leverage and also implement the whole shift left culture, and with thinking proactively and also building proactive solutions. That's a whole culture. How to adopt and build proactive solutions is something which we will be directly learning and implementing that. So this is how the Optimizor. End of the day, given that with the time constraint, we couldn't do an actual working demo today. We are planning on organizing that on one-on-one basis and also on demand basis. So just to give you a gist of how the results of Optimizor will look like. This is a scatter plot. Now, after the Optimizor finished playing the game with your Kubernetes workloads and the Kubernetes cluster, it shows you all the different points, data points where your cluster can run, your workloads can run at optimal levels. And it also will give you a one solution, like, okay, this is what I think as an AI is the best optimal values you need to allocate for CPU and memory. This is just one example we're talking. Our platform, our AI do deal with all other parameters, and it can suggest optimal values for other parameters also. This is just one example. So not only giving you suggestion on data-driven evidence for just one category, meaning giving you suggestion on giving one optimal value combination, it will also give you suggestions on what are the top 5 other combinations you can pick. You can basically cherry pick from all the top 5 optimal values what AI thinks, and then you can take a final decision instantly. Okay, yes, this is my final CPU and memory configurations I need to give it for my workloads on the Kubernetes cluster. So based on that, I'm able to figure out what should be the virtual machine type of nodes I need to provision, and what should be the cluster size, and what will be the cost I'm going to spend, even at a very pod level to the nodes level, and all together to the very high level of the cluster. So you'll be able to see all these analysis and results by using the actual evidence-based data. All right. Any questions?
Thank you, Chandu and Prasanna. That was very insightful. At this time, I would like to remind all the attendees that to ask any questions, you can do so by typing them in the Q&A window if you have not already done. So, Chandu and Prasanna, over to you for
Thank you.
answering this question. Yeah.
Looks like we got few questions. I already got passed, handed over to me. So what's the current stage of the product, right? So as I said, we've been running this in stealth mode for over 6 months, and we have few early adopters. From a general availability perspective, we are in beta, and we are soon going to announce the production ready. And we do have early adopters who are trying our product. Will you offer it as a SaaS? Actually, yes, it is. To be precise, it is going to be hybrid SaaS, meaning the UI component and the ML model will be residing on our hosted environment, and the actual experimentation and the whole running of your playing the game with your Kubernetes and all that, it will be happening inside your network, inside your organization itself, within your IT infrastructure. So no data is taken out. It's completely designed in a SOC 2 compliant model, starting from our design stage itself. So yes, our entire platform is completely SOC 2 compliant, and we are going through the undergoing the auditing for it to get the certification. Okay. Do you have clients for which it has been implemented? Yes, like I said, we do have some early adopters. What is it? Cost savings for your product. So what we have seen so far is are based on what type of workloads you're running, whether it be stateless applications or stateful applications, whether also based on your architecture design, your enterprise infrastructure architecture design, whether it's a hybrid setup or multi-cloud setup or multi-region, right? Every setup has a different savings we have seen. We are able to achieve that. But to give you a range, it was between 20 to 30% what we have seen so far. And are there any hardware or software changes which are needed for an existing ecosystem to make your product work? No, the only requirement is, you basically have to be a consumer of or an adopter of a Kubernetes and containerized technology. What is the license cost? It varies. It's going to vary from customer to customer, and also depends on your how huge your Kubernetes environment is and what kind of workloads you're running. So to get more details on that, we recommend to talk to us one-on-one. We'll take an assessment, and then we'll be able to give you the cost. But just to give you a gist of the cost, it's going to be pay as you use. How much time does it require for your product to be implemented in my current ecosystem? It's instantaneous. It's a day one operation methodology. So we build it as a SaaS to make it adoptable on the day one itself. How usable is your product for non-technical people? Do you provide any reporting analytics for the products? Yes. Like Prasanna was mentioning earlier in one of our slides, it's a we do provide very detailed visualization, and even non-technical folks can also consume those reports and figure out where you are spending the cost and how your ecosystem, your Kubernetes ecosystem is running, how stable it is from a performance perspective, and also where can you save the cost. What is the availability of technical support? Any SLAs? Yes, we are going to be available. 24/7 support is going to be there, and we are trying to achieve, that 99.59 SLA. Do you offer any customizations? Yes. So since we built it as a framework, this is a very good question relevant to our framework design. Since we built it as a framework, yes, we will be able to provide you any custom solution or any custom feature and easily build and deploy that into our platform. So you can immediately start consuming that. And can you talk a little bit about product security? I'm assuming this is probably coming from a perspective of how secure your data is going to be, what is the data our platform is going to collect from your environment. So like I said earlier, it's a SOC 2 compliant, and also it's a hybrid SaaS. So everything what's happening regarding the experimentation, not only Optimizor, all other products which we are building, right, earlier, which I gave you a teaser about it. So everything is completely going to be in a hybrid SaaS model. So what you are using, what is your data, even if it is not a proprietary data, even if it is simple monitoring data, the metrics, time series metrics, all of that is going to still stay within your network and within your organization, within your infrastructure. Nothing is taken out, so it's completely secure.
Chandu, so we have a quick poll while you're looking for these Q&A. So I'm just, Shiva, can you launch the polls? Yeah, so while we answer the questions in parallel, you can take a quick look at these 3 poll questions that we have for you.
Thank you, Ajay.
Thank you.
Let's go through, while you guys are, all the attendees are taking the poll. I'll try to answer more questions. Is it one-time install and use, or do we need to take continuous support from your team? Yeah, it's basically a subscription model. So since it is a SaaS designed method, we adopted to provide you the solution, to utilize our solution. So it's going to be a subscription model. Is there any specific training required to use this product? I would say not really. It's a very self-explanatory and very easy to adopt. And also, this is particularly Optimizor is targeted, keeping in mind about the developers and QA engineers. So since they are all technical folks, and since we built a lot of automation into it to make life easy to the end users, it's all self-explanatory, basically self-service mode is what we have built. And for non-technical folks, yeah, the whole visualization is already built into it, so it is very easy to adopt it. And yeah, if you still need a training, and if you are having a hard time to figure out how to use it, of course, we are here to give you that support, not a problem. And we are continuously, writing the blogs and conducting technical. We are going to do technical webinars, not only on Optimizor. We are also, like I said, we are building other products, which some of them are already ready. So we are going to plan a few more webinars to announce what is coming out. And today, like example, today we are announcing about Optimizor, and next month we are going to announce about another product. So each and every product which we are launching, and each and every product which we already built, and the final products which are under development, we are going to do the webinars and training sessions, and you can watch those all on our website. You can find those and watch those on our websites, and also we are going to upload those to our YouTube channels and all that. We'll send you all those links and details to your email. All right.
Sure. Thanks for your participation in the polls. There is a question about will you be sharing this webinar later? Absolutely. As Chandu answered, we'll be sharing the deck and the recording, as well as all the Q&A. And then we'll be sharing the webinar replay link with you in a couple of days. There are no questions coming along. We can close the session. Chandu, any final thoughts and remarks? Chandu, Prasanna?
So yeah, I want to thank everybody for attending, and also a very big shout out to our team who helped us achieve this, and also continuously trying to make the progress on enhancing our existing products and continuously developing that. So very big shout out and a special thanks to Prasanna, Vimala, and Jayesh who made that possible and been there since beginning to build all our products. Thank you.
Thank you.